Making headlines this hour, a group of local NGOs announces plans to launch a campaign to help Muslims suffering due to conflicts around the world. Islamic minister says the newly opened Darul Iman or Waqf building will bring an annual rental income of around 5.2 million rupiah to the Waqf fund. And Turkish warplanes found 10 IS targets in northern Syria, killing 41 militants.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to News in English here on TVM with me, Hafiz Abdul Sattar. And now the news in detail. A group of local NGOs announces plans to launch a campaign to help Muslims suffering due to conflicts around the world. 9 organizations have so far joined the campaign, which the organizers say is open to everyone. The organizers say that donations from the first round of the campaign will go towards helping Syrians affected by the country's ongoing civil war. Speaking to PSM about the campaign, member of International Help Aid Adam Naif said that people made homeless by the Syrian conflict are in desperate need of food and clothing. He said they have begun work to collect donations through organizations and individuals. Naif advised prospective donors to be vigilant of scammers who might take advantage of such a campaign, adding that they would not make phone calls to individuals asking for donations. The organizers says donations collected to the campaign will be delivered to the Syrians through a Turkish humanitarian NGO, IHH. The organizers are also planning similar campaigns to help Palestinians, Yemenis and Rohingya Muslims. Islamic Minister Dr. Ahmad Ziyad says the newly opened Darul Iman or Waqf building will bring in an annual rental income of around 5.2 million rupiah to the Waqf fund. The minister revealed it at a ceremony held last night to officially open the Waqf building.
The Islamic Ministry utilized 24.9 million rupiah from the Waqf fund to develop the 9-story building, which is expected to create an income stream for the fund. The building, located adjacent to Mafan Madrasa, was officially opened last night at a ceremony attended by senior officials from the Islamic Ministry and other government offices. The ministry said spaces in the Waqf building will be leased to government offices and state-owned companies. According to the ministry, the rent collected through leasing office spaces will be used to build, maintain and renovate mosques. The funds will also be utilized for the religious awareness programs. Speaking at the ceremony, Islamic Minister Dr. Ahmad Ziyad said they are hoping to develop more Waqf buildings in the country. Home Minister Azlin Ahmad also spoke at the ceremony, noted priority accorded by the current administration to build and maintain mosques across the country. The Islamic Ministry also launched its new website and mobile application at last night's ceremony. Waqf refers to donations or religious endowments and disbursement of the funds for Sharia-compliant projects such as mosques or religious schools.
Maldives National Defence Force MNDF rescues 10 fishermen after they were stranded at sea for over 21 hours. The fishermen abandoned their boat Tuesday night after a fire broke out in its engine room. Skipper of the boat named Marco Polo II, Muhammad Ibrahim, said he advised crew members to abandon the vessel as there was no hope of containing the fire. He said he helped keep the 9 men afloat till help arrived. The stranded fishermen were rescued on Wednesday evening by a fishing vessel involved in the MNDF's search and rescue operation. The fire broke out on Marco Polo II on Tuesday while it was traveling 323 nautical miles off Tinadu of Gaftal atoll. The crew of the vessel, including 1 Maldivian and 9 Indonesians. Maldives Inland Revenue Authority Mira says zakat on property collected in 2016 declined by 6 million rupiah in 2016 compared to the previous year. Mira statistics show that 35.8 million rupiah was collected as zakat on property by the end of 2016, while the number stood at 41 million rupiah in 2015. Mira received the highest amount in October 2016 with 10.4 million rupiah. Mira began collection of zakat on wealth in June 2016. According to the statistics, the authority collected 29.5 million rupiah as zakat on property during the period. Mira also received 48,577 rupiah as sadaqat. In business, we have the Maldives has been ranked third on British tour operator Hayes and Jarvis list of top destinations for 2017. New York topped the list and is followed by Thailand. Las Vegas and Mauritius are ranked 4th and 5th respectively. According to Hayes and Jarvis, the long-haul trends report 2017 reveals favorites as well as the destinations and travel habits which it believes will be making the biggest waves this year. Maldives Inland Revenue Authority Mira says it collected over 14 million rupiah in remittance tax in 2016. Remittance tax is a tax imposed on money transferred out of the Maldives by foreigners employed in the Maldives. Remittance tax, which is collected at the rate of 3% of the remitted amount, came into effect on October 1st, 2016. It is imposed pursuant to the 5th Amendment to the Employment Act, which was ratified by the President on August 25th, 2016. In December 2016 alone, Mira collected 7.7 million rupiah as remittance tax. Banks and money transfer agencies operating in the Maldives are responsible for collecting the tax from foreigners employed in the country at the point of remittance. Banks and money transfer agencies are required to file a monthly remittance tax return with Mira by the 15th day of the following month and remit the tax collected during the month to Mira by that date. Online retail giant Amazon.com writes to Indian Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj, expressing regret at hurting Indian sentiments and removed an offending item from its Canadian website.
Amazon.com removed doormats resembling the Indian tricolour flag from its Canadian website on Wednesday after Swaraj threatened to rescind visas of the US company's employees if it did not stop selling the product. Swaraj had said in a series of Twitter posts on Wednesday that Amazon must tender unconditional apology. They must withdraw all products insulting our national flag immediately. If this is not done forthwhile, we will not grant Indian visa to any Amazon official. We will also rescind the visas issued earlier. Swaraj tweeted that she had asked the Indian High Commission in Canada to take up the issue with Amazon after it was brought to her attention by a Twitter user from India's financial capital of Mumbai. The doormat sold by a third party on Amazon's Canadian portal was taken down late on Wednesday. Foreign Ministry spokesperson Vikas Swarb said the Indian government appreciated the swift response from the world's largest online retailer.
Within one day, the Vice President and country head of Amazon wrote to her expressing regret and indicating that the item had been pulled from the website. We appreciate the prompt response from Amazon and hope that such incidents are not repeated in the future.
Amazon's portal in Canada sells doormats fashioned around other national flags, but under Indian law, any desecration of its flag is punishable with fines and imprisonment. Amazon's official support account on Twitter had earlier responded to angry user comments on Twitter by saying the mats were not being sold on their Indian portal and the concerns had been escalated. Swaraj is a prolific user of the social media website and often responds to tweets directed at her. Amazon is making a huge bet on India and has vowed to invest more than $5 billion as it takes on homegrown Flipkart and Snapdeal for a bigger share of the world's fastest growing internet service market.
Turkish warplanes found 10 IS targets in Zuflania and Basanga towns in northern Syria, killing 41 militants. The Turkish military said in a statement on Friday that the airstrikes were launched as Syrian rebels backed by Turkish troops and firepowers besiege IS-controlled Al-Bab as part of the 4-month-long Euphrates Shield operation to push the militants and the Kurdish militia away from Turkey's border. The army said Thursday's airstrikes targeted buildings used by IS fighters as well as armed vehicles. A powerful blast caused by a suicide bomber hit a heavily policed district of the Syrian capital, killing at least 7 people. A police source told state television that a suicide bomber blew himself in the Kafr Sousa neighborhood where some of Syria's main security installations are located. The British-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, which tracks violence across the country, said the death toll was expected to rise, with several of the wounded in a critical condition. Footage on state media showed splattered blood and wreckage of several cars with dozens of heavily armed security personnel at the site of the explosion. Last July, a car bomb also hit Kafr Sousa near an Iranian school in an attack that killed several people in the area close to the main Umayyad square that connects the city with several highways. Insurgents are fighting to topple President Bashar al-Assad, say the district houses many recruits from Iranian-backed militias are fighting alongside the army. Iraqi government forces retaking Mosul from IS extremists have adjusted their strategies after gaining remarkable progress in the long-anticipated battle, but it will take time to fully recover the scourged Iraqi city.
It has been more than 2 months since the fight for Mosul began on October 17, 2016. Joint forces had reached the outskirts of the war-torn city from multiple directions. However, the operation came to a standstill while the troops were pushing deeper into the city in November. Recently, a new round of offensives has started after a 1-month readjustment period. According to Iraqi security experts, the operation to retake Mosul from so-called IS aims to recover not only the city but also a large territory in IS-controlled Niveneh. The total area of reclamation takes up approximately 37,000 square kilometers, while millions of Iraqis may need to be resettled during the operation. Since the offensive kicked off, the joint forces of Iraq launched assaults on the extremists, while its front line advanced towards the Tigris River, laying a solid foundation to reclaim the eastern bank of Tigris River in Mosul. In the south, the Iraqi Federal Police has almost retaken the territory south of Niveneh. At present, the police force is cooperating with the 9th Armored Division in the southwestern region. In the north, the 16th Infantry and the part of the Sunni Arab force started making their way into the city and have now besieged the University of Mosul. More progress is expected within a few days. And in the west, Shia militia have advanced into Tal Afar, cutting off supplies to the extremist group and consolidating the defense in the Iraq-Syria border region at the same time. According to the administrative division, more than 50 communities are located in eastern Mosul. About 10 remain in the hands of the IS, which means at least 70% of East Mosul has been recaptured. In the new round of the long-awaited battle, several industrial areas for manufacturing car bombs have been retaken, significantly reducing the risk for the troops on their way forward. The reduction in the number of car bombs has facilitated the development of the battle in eastern Mosul. The joint forces have lately launched their maiden night attack and diversified their tactics. Figures indicate that an increasing number of residents are leaving Mosul, with some 173,000 having already evacuated, a rise of nearly 40,000 from earlier this month. Though completely recapturing eastern Mosul seems to be just around the corner, security forces continue to face dangers since a large number of extremists has withdrawn to more densely populated west bank of the Tigris, where building structures are more packed. The government's full recovery of the city may require more time.
Thailand's military-backed parliament votes overwhelmingly to make amendments to the constitution as suggested by the new king's office, a move likely to delay a general election scheduled for the end of the year.
The military-backed constitution is a key part of the junta's plan to hold an election to return Thailand to democratic rule following a 2014 coup. The draft constitution was approved in a referendum last year and has been awaiting endorsement by King Maha Vajiralongkorn, who took the throne in December after the death of his father, King Bhumibol Adulyadej, who commanded immense respect from Thais during his 70-year reign. Promulgation of the charter, which was forwarded to the palace for royal endorsement in November, was expected in early February. The office of King Vajiralongkorn had asked the government to make a few changes to clauses related to royal power in the draft constitution, a rare intervention by a sitting Thai monarch. The assembly also made changes that allowed the king to travel overseas without having to appoint a regent to rule in his stead. King Vajiralongkorn travelled frequently while he was crown prince and has spent a significant amount of his adult life abroad, mostly in Germany, where he has a home. The government must first make the requested amendments. The king then has 90 days to approve the amended charter. Both the junta and the Royal Household Bureau declined to comment on why the changes were requested by the king.
The South Korean special prosecutor will decide whether to seek an arrest warrant for Simpson Group leader J.Y. Lee within 2 days. The 48-year-old executive was named as a suspect on suspicions that include bribery and perjury that was questioned for more than 22 hours until his release early on Friday. A spokesman for the special prosecutor's office told a regular briefing that a final decision had yet to be made on an arrest warrant. Prosecutors are trying to determine if payments of about $25 million Simpson made to foundations and a business backed by a confidant of President Park Geun-hye were connected to a 2015 decision by the National Pension Service to back a controversial merger of two Simpson Group affiliates. U.S. President Barack Obama surprises his Vice President Joe Biden, awarding him the Presidential Medal of Freedom at a farewell ceremony at the White House.
So, Joe, for your faith in your fellow Americans, for your love of country, and for your lifetime of service that will endure through the generations, I'd like to ask the military aide to join us on stage. For the final time as President, I am pleased to award our nation's highest civilian honor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
This honor is not only well beyond what I deserve, but it's a reflection of the extent and generosity of your spirit. I don't deserve this, but I know it came from the President's heart.
U.S.-backed Human Rights Watch warns that the election of Donald Trump as President of the United States and the rise of populist leaders in Europe poses an extraordinarily dangerous threat to human rights.
The Human Rights Organization made the statement in its annual global report released on Thursday. The 687-page report reviews human rights practices in more than 90 countries. Executive Director of Human Rights Watch Ken Roth said the global rise of populists proposes an extraordinarily dangerous threat to human rights.
Donald Trump's successful presidential campaign vividly illustrated this politics of intolerance. Sometimes overtly, sometimes through code and indirection, he spoke to many Americans' discontent with economic stagnation and an increasingly multicultural society in a way that breached basic principles of dignity and equality.
Trump will take office on January 20th. Roth cited Trump's election campaign and a successful campaign for Britain to leave the European Union as examples of the politics of the intolerance. In France, head of the anti-EU, anti-immigrant National Front is campaigning for the presidency.
We see a similar scapegoating of asylum seekers, immigrants, and especially Muslims in Europe. Leading the charge have been Marine Le Pen in France and Geert Wilders in the Netherlands. But there are echoes of this intolerance in the Brexit campaign, the rhetoric of Viktor Orban in Hungary and Jaroslaw Kaczynski in Poland, and far-right parties from Germany to Greece. Throughout the European Union, officials and politicians hearken back to distant, even fanciful times of perceived national ethnic purity.
Roth was also critical of Russian President Vladimir Putin, Chinese President Xi Jinping, and Turkey's Tayyip Erdogan for their crackdowns on dissent, and he accuses Syrian President Bashar al-Assad of flouting the laws of the war by targeting civilians in the country's conflict. He said voters around the globe needed to demand politics based on truth and the values of our rights respecting democracy.
In sports, we have the Australian Open Tennis Open draw has been announced, with defending champion Novak Djokovic facing Fernando Verdasco in a mouth-watering first-round match. Spaniard Verdasco knocked compatriot Rafa Nadal out in the opening round last year at Melbourne Park and had match points against Djokovic in their recent clash at the Qatar Open. Should Serb Djokovic advance, the world number 2 could face a resurgent Grigor Dimitrov in the 4th round, who won the Brisbane International last week and is in omnis form. World number 1 Andy Murray will face Ukraine's Ilya Marchenko in his opener as the Briton searches for an elusive maiden title at Melbourne Park after 5 trips to the final. Murray, beaten in 4 of them by Djokovic, including last year's decider, faces a relatively smooth run to the quarter-finals where Nishikori or Roger Federer may await. Federer, seeded 17th after a long injury layoff, makes his much-anticipated return to Grand Slam action with a first match against a qualifier. The Swiss Masters path to an 18th Grand Slam title quickly becomes tricky, however, with a potential third-round encounter with 5th seed Nishikori. Manager Slaven Bilic says West Ham United will not sell Dimitri Payet despite the influential midfielder informing the Premier League club he does not wish to play for them anymore. According to British media reports, Payet, who is reportedly refusing to train with the squad, was made the club's best paid player when he signed a 5-year contract in February, earning $153,000 a week. Payet made a strong start to his West Ham career last season as he scored 9 Premier League goals and claimed 13 assists to propel the club to 7th place, their highest top-flight finish since 2002. The France international, however, has struggled to rediscover his best league form this season, having scored just twice in 20 league games so far. West Ham sit 13th in the table, 7 points above the relegation zone. West Ham host 17th place Crystal Palace on Saturday. Madame Tussauds showcases wax works of Bollywood megastar Amitabh Bachchan alongside Lady Gaga and Marie Tussauds to generate a buzz ahead of their entry into celebrity-made New Delhi later this year.
The wax statues were unveiled by Merlin Entertainments, the operator of the iconic entertainment attraction. Amitabh Bachchan is one of the Indian cinema's most revered and influential actors, and he has been a mainstay on screen for 5 decades. Besides the 74-year-old Bachchan, the Delhi branch would house wax figures of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and cricket legend Sachin Tendulkar, among many others. Each masterpiece takes around 4 months and a team of 20 artists to create. More than 250 precise body measurements are referenced, real hair are inserted, and innumerable layers of paints are applied to build up the skin tones. The Delhi branch of the city centre's historic Regal Cinema is India's first, the museum's 23rd globally and its 9th in Asia, where a growing middle class are prepared to pay to see wax figures of their favourite stars. Indian celebrities like Bollywood actress Aishwarya Rai Bachchan, Kareena Kapoor Khan, superstar Shah Rukh Khan, Hrithik Roshan and Salman Khan are some of the names who already have their statues in different branches of Madame Tussauds across the world. Madame Tussauds was founded in the year 1835 by Marie Tussaud in London. From early works of Marie, Madame Tussauds created an international phenomenon that still remains a famous attraction for millions of visitors every year. Operating more than 250 years, Madame Tussauds has now 23 flagship sites present across the world. Each museum offers a blend of local and international experiences filled with exciting and interactive zones. The wax statues enable visitors to walk down the red carpet and pose with their favorite national and international celebrities.
And that's all we have for this hour. Thank you for watching. Wish you all a very pleasant night ahead.